Y'all smell that? I smell something in there and it smells like honeysuckle. You know what that means? When that honeysuckle starts blooming, it's time to go put some cotton in the ground. I can't wait to get this cotton crop started. All right, guys, before we get really loaded up and get to planting, we're going to start out with getting a test plot planted first, a biological test plot. And before I get my planter contaminated with any other biologicals while I got a clean planter, we'll just go ahead and get this knocked out and then don't have to worry about it anymore. But first variety we're going to plant, Infraction 360 W3FE. Been a great one for us for several years now, and it's going to be one of two varieties I'm going to have this year, so it's what we're going to load up with. We got two different biologicals we're going to have out here. Andy's already out there getting the strips crimped down. So first thing I'm going to plant is going to be untreated seed, no biological treatment. Go ahead and get our controls planted. We're going to have 4 replications of it, and then we'll vacuum out what little seeds in there, put in seed treated with our first biological seed treatment, plant those 4 replications, and then we'll load up with our second seed treatment and plant those 4 replications. And once we get that knocked out of the way, then we ought to be ready to blow and go. All right, we got a little dab of seed in there for our controls, so let's set the planter down in the ground and we'll check our depth and everything. Alright, everything is in the green. Alright, let's stop right there and do some digging. Look at that nice bare strip. That is the benefit of the burned down strips. Had plenty of corn residue that my road cleaners was able to move out of the way, but no live residue in here that my double disc openers have got to cut through, and the seed doesn't have to fight its way down through to get to the seed trench. Now we got our seeds set pretty shallow. We don't want them planted deep. We got potential rain moving in tomorrow night and Friday. All right, there's the first seed, about 1/2 inch deep. Second seed right there, 1/2 inch deep. About perfect. Yeah, I mean that seed just barely under the ground. That seed come up there in no time at all. I think I'm going to adjust it 1 notch lower because I'm seeing a few seeds still on top of the ground. Problem is we're planting right on top of the old corn rows there, and we still got those tough root balls and stuff that can cause a little bit of fluctuation in depth. So most of the ones that I saw were right there. I mean, they were pretty shallow. If all of them were exactly that depth, I'd be fine, but there were a few too shallow ones, so we'll set it 1 notch lower and check that out. All right, I think we got everything finally dialed in on the planter, and we're finish up planting our control plots. But I'm not going to bore you too much with the test plot talk. With the biologicals that we're testing this year, we got 2 different ones. If you remember from cotton last year, Micro-Knock, we tested it on cotton. I've been touting it on corn for quite a few years. Loved it on corn. Saw some pretty dang big results out of it last year on cotton. But we don't take just 1 year's of data and make big decisions off of it. We're testing it again this year, replicated plots. And we also got this other product called Rhizol. They want me to put in a plot, and it's going to be our other biological. So when we get done planting our control, which is the untreated, we're going to go back, fill up with enough seed of the Micro-Knock, mix it in real good with the seed, plant that, vacuum everything out, and put this Rhizol in with the next batch of seed and plant them, and ought to give us really great comparison in this field. We got a nice uniform spot. Ought to give us a great comparison, especially with 4 different replications, to see if these products do in fact work. You know, a lot of salesmen will say, well, hey, just try our product and split the field and see if you see any difference on the yield monitor. That ain't the way we do things around here. That is not scientific enough. That's not eliminating enough variables, and there's a whole lot of margin for error right there in getting some kind of false results that could lead you to spend big bucks on a product that might or might not work. So you know, I wish we had a big enough area that I could put in 5 or 6 replications rather than 4, but you know, we're just limited by the area that we're in. And it's anyway, these plots, they take a lot of time. They're a pain in the butt, they're a hassle, but the data that we get off of them, especially if we do it right, is absolutely invaluable to us. I mean, it pays off in spades. You know, either the amount of money that we save on products that don't necessarily work for us, or finding those few products that really do bring something added to the table. I think we got it in Micronoc, but again, I don't go off 1 year's worth of results. We're going to stress test again this year, and based upon what I heard from my crop scout, who was the one that got me signed up with this Rhizol plot, they saw some pretty dang big things out of it last year in cotton too. So really excited to see what these products are going to do this year. You know, I've made no secret that I think biologicals are the wave of the future, but at the price point and how little we know about them and how they actually interact in the soil and what they actually do and everything, I feel like the vast majority of biological products out there are vastly overrated and vastly overpriced. A lot of them might work for a select few people, but as far as working across the board, I really have my doubts right now, just because everybody's environment, everybody's practices is going to be different.
Are there only 12 inroads where I'm at right now?
No, I mean, pretty much every place is going to have 24 inroads on it. There's going to be very, very, very few places you're going to see just 12 inroads.
Okay.
All right, that's got our control plot planted. Get these seed vacuumed out. Get our first plot in, and I'll bring y'all back when we get done with these plots. All right, just got our plots wrapped up, so we ready to load up for real and get some seed planted. And put 2 bags in each hopper. That'll be enough for 150 acres. That'll probably be all we get planted for the rain.
How do I always get with this job?
Well, do you want to mix in the stinky stuff? I'll load seed.
It's hot.
Yeah, well,
I don't really care.
get used to it.
I don't even know what this is. I don't even know if that's a full bag, a half bag, whatever.
Well, we're putting in 2 full bags in each of them, and then what we got left over, what we vacuumed out, test plot, I'm going to just even it out, and that'll give me the exact amount I need to get all the way through the Todd farm.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, it's got our planter loaded up. You're looking at the remnants of about, $14,500, maybe $15,000 worth of seed right there. And yes, we did add in Micronoc, even though we just got done putting in a trial with Micronoc. What we saw last year, plus what I've seen from it on previous years of corn, made me enough of a believer. And I said earlier, it's $4.60 an acre. I think it's even lower than that. Looked at my bill, I think it's like around $4.20 an acre. So at that cost with what we saw last year in yields, yeah, I'm throwing it in. If it doesn't work, all I've lost is $4.20 an acre. If it does work, like it has shown in the past, I went in pretty big, but really be interested to see the results of those plots come fall. So we got about 150 acres worth of seed in the ground. I ought to keep us running all the way through tomorrow. So let's get back on the road. I need some AC. Big thanks to my helper for loading all those heavy seed. Raising dust on May 1st. And I cannot begin to express to y'all just how happy and excited I am. I'm putting in my 20th crop, and this is the earliest I've ever been able to plant cotton. I'm just thrilled beyond imagination, because over the course of that 20 years, if there is one thing I've learned, you need a growing season for cotton. And just due to different circumstances every year, with probably 75% of the time being poor weather, we just have not been able to get our cotton planted early. Typically, most of the time, our cotton has been planted between that May 14th to May 20th window. May 20th is our crop insurance deadline. Just the weather has not been favorable. But this year, it finally is. We got great weather right now to plant cotton into. We've got a pretty dang good forecast, at least as regard with temperatures. We do have some rain forecast to come in tomorrow night and Friday. You know, probably, you know, half an inch to 3/4 of an inch is what is predicted. But I feel okay with that, with our amount of biomass out here. But just like we saw last year, you know, you get rain, even if you got warm temperatures, things can go south in a hurry. And you know, last year it didn't work out so well. Hopefully this year it will be okay. Just one of those things you can't predict. But I know I talked in one of my earlier videos this year when we were looking at wheat about how my big goal for this year was to have an early cotton crop. And the only way you can have an early cotton crop is if you get it planted early. Well, we're getting it planted early. You know, last year we had an absolutely tremendous cotton crop, but it was kind of a fluke. We really shouldn't have, because I planted all my cotton at our normal planting time, that May 14th to May 20th, then turned around and had to replant like 80% of our cotton crop in that, you know, May 24th, May 25th range. And we should not have made the crop that we did last year, but we had a lot of sunlight last summer. It was very dry, but we got just enough rain in the nick of time. But we had all that sunlight. We had an extended growing season, and the stars just aligned. That very, very rarely happens. But this year, you know, we're getting started a full 2 weeks earlier planting cotton than what we normally do. So that 2 weeks more of growing season could be, it potentially could just be tremendous. You know, right now we're setting the stage for some potentially tremendous yield. Now, that being said, this crop's got a long ways to go. A long ways to go, and a lot of things have to go right. We could have a drought, we could have terrible insects we can't control. You know, there'll be a lot of things go wrong, and we don't have a good cotton crop. But the potential is there right now at this time, and that's what I'm excited about. But you know, going back to last year, you know, we hadn't even started planting corn at this time. I don't think we started planting corn until May 2nd, May 3rd. So just thinking about how a cotton plant develops, and I've got a video on how cotton grows that shows exactly how it develops. Y'all might find interesting. But you know, with 2 extra weeks, and when cotton gets into the reproductive stage, you know, it sets bolls on another node every 3 days. So that could potentially be another 5 nodes higher in the plant that we could actually set harvestable fruit. You know, when you think about bolls on the lateral, you know, going out laterally on the branch, each position, there's about 5 days difference. So we could potentially set, you know, another 2 to 3 bolls per branch. Now the plant won't keep all of it, but that being said, we now have the growing season for the cotton to really stretch its legs, and if everything else is right as far as moisture, nutrients, sunlight, and everything else, you know, the cotton plant now has the time to actually set and hold on a lot more fruit, which could lead to a lot bigger yields. You know, the only other year that the weather has been really fit that I would feel comfortable planting cotton this early in the year was two years ago, but I couldn't plant cotton because this tractor was down. It needed a new hydraulic pump. If y'all remember the videos from that, how absolutely tore up I was. That you know, the season was early, the weather for planting cotton was perfect. I didn't have a tractor to hook to the planter. Because, you know, I learned a lot of things in my farming career, but the key number one is it's really hard to make good cotton if you don't have a long enough growing season. So this extra 2 weeks, as long as this comes up and you know, comes up to a good stand, we don't have to do any replanting. I mean, it could be huge. But then on the flip side, if for some reason it doesn't come up to a good stand, we will be replanting during what is our normal planting window. So even if we have to replant, we shouldn't have late cotton. So needless to say, I'm just absolutely over the moon right now. All right, well, we kind of been creeping along here at 4.5 miles an hour because we're driving over some ground that's been ripped, and it's kind of rough. I don't want to bounce my units too much. Been looking over this Rizal brochure, you know, one of those products we put out there, and doesn't really say what the product consists of, unlike the Micronoc, but it says it's got 35, where's it at? It says it's got 35 powerful microbial organisms, and you can either, and they deliver it in a dry form, and it's activated by water. Now what we used was their seed treatment, which is mixed with talc, so it also acts as a seed lubricant. So you get it in two forms: dry, it's mixed in with talc like what I'm using, or you can it comes in a dry that you mix in with your sprayer. The water activates it and you spray it over the top. So but looking here at the end, where on their test plot data of everything that they had last year, they had over 200 test plots in rice, peanuts, cotton, soybeans, corn, and wheat, and rice showed the biggest increase. Cotton, they showed an average of 81 pounds an acre increase. The biggest increase cotton showed was 188 pounds an acre. Soybeans showed an average of right at 3 bushel an acre increase. Corn, 8.5 bushel an acre increase, and wheat showed an average of 3 bushel an acre increase. So that cotton and corn sounds pretty promising. You know, that the increase it showed in corn is along the lines of what I'm seeing out of the Micronoc. They're two completely separate products. So I don't know, maybe if you mix Rizal and Micronoc together, would you get 15, 16 bushel an acre increase? I don't know. If it does good in my plots, might try that out next year. But these is everybody else's plots. I want to see the proof of my eyes, plots that I put in, manage myself, harvest myself, wait myself. That way I know the results are accurate and very trustworthy. All right, first farm, first 30 acres is in the ground. Oh, look at those pretty stripes out there. Been a long, hard day. Hadn't done a whole lot of planting, done a whole lot of getting ready to plant and then getting set and filled up and everything else. But we're gonna get moved on up to Ed Smith Road and see if we can get about a 20 acre field knocked out up there before we head home. That'll put us at around 50 acres for the day. 50 acres planted on May 1st. I'm so happy. Andy getting after it in that roller. I'm not too awful pleased with the job the crimper's doing this year. He said there's still a lot of rye kind of standing up there. I mean, it'll fall over quickly, but I like to see it look like a golf course after that crimper runs through. I think it's definitely time to overhaul that overhaul that crimper. Now, part of the reason that it's not lying down good, again, we're planting 2 weeks earlier than what we normally do, but this rye is headed out. It's in antithesis, means it's pollinating everything, and that should be the perfect time to lay it down good. Now, good parts out there, we've got thick clover, that's laying down good, but the rye itself, just not doing good. If we were planting, a week, 2 weeks later, I'm sure he'd be doing a better job. But I think part of the problem is that crimper. We bought that thing brand new in 2015, so this is its 10th year that we've used it. So it's been over quite a few acres, and those chevron blades on the drums are they've gotten rounded off pretty good. They don't have that nice sharp edge. So this winter, if the crimper survives this season, we definitely need to go through, need to replace all the bearings on it, and then we need to get some bolt-on blades to bring a nice square edge back to those blades, and I think it'll do a whole lot better job in laying down that cover crop. I mean, some places it's doing a fantastic job, and then other places just kind of lackluster. Ready for another day. Hope to get a whole lot covered today. Now quit standing around chit-chatting. Cotton ain't getting in the ground.
Bite me right there.
Well, wait on Andy to get from you a little bit. We'll do a little bit of cab maintenance here. I sure do appreciate a clean cab. Has your GPS been a little better this morning, Andy?
Not really. It's a little bit better, but it's still kind of doing the same thing. Like there's gaps in between these two rows going both ways, both of the same way right now that I'm on right now. It's better than it was, but it's still squirrely.
All right. Well, hopefully it's just that guidance line. I hope we get a big day today, because I think it's going to be the last day we're going to have for a little while. Last I saw, rain is supposed to come in tonight, all day tomorrow, and then like a 40 to 60% chance of rain for the foreseeable future after that. So we know it doesn't take long after a rain to dry up and get in our fields with a cover crop. But if you get rain every day, it's not going to help that much. Let's see what the latest from NOAA is.
Tonight, a chance of thunderstorms, showers, lows in the mid-60s, chance of rain 80%. Friday, showers likely with a chance of thunderstorms, chance of rain 70%. Friday night, mostly cloudy in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy.
Well, there you go, guys. It sounds even less promising than what it did yesterday when I checked it. Like I said, I don't think it's a great big storm system going to dump a whole lot of rain that's going to hurt this cotton or whatever, but ideally I would prefer not to see any rain on this cotton until it has emerged. But if you waited until that kind of forecast here in West Tennessee, you probably never would get any cotton planted. So we're going to roll the dice. Not going to waste this opportunity to plant early. Yeah, there's a chance it won't come up. There's also a chance it'll come up and make 1,500 plus pounds too. So we'll see.